All right, good morning, listener. You all welcome to another edition of Newsreel on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Newsreel is a current affairs program where we bring you stories making the headlines in our various newspapers. This morning we have the Punch, we have the Nigerian Tribune, we have Daily Trust. For you, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I have my amiable co-host, Babafemi Obideyi in the studios. Good morning.
Good morning, Inumidun. How are you?
Good.
All right, good morning to you, our dear listener. This is Newsreel on Pensioners 106.7 FM Agbarigo, Onireke Ibadan. And of course, today we're ready to give you the news as we have them from our national dailies. Just as you mentioned, it's good to be here again this lovely Friday morning. And thank God it's Friday. My name is Babafemi Obideyi.
All right, we're going to the Nigerian Tribune where we have this headline: Federal government okays reopening of NYSC orientation camps.
From the Punch newspaper, further petrol price hike likely, marketers warn Nigerians, and writer's story, TUC says government auction wicked, demands immediate reversal. We can no longer fund petrol subsidy, says federal government.
Amoteco arrests 3 suspected kidnappers in Ondo and also Osun schools to return to original uniforms on the 9th of November 2020.
PTF approves phased reopening of schools, orders risk assessment. 17 vigilantes killed, 23 bandits gunned down in Niger. Others.
Oyo cancels curfew, moves conversion of isolation centers to PHCs. Also, Gbajabiamila urges Ghana to revisit law on $1 million business capital.
Water bill hearing. Sands, others warn reps against illegality. International flight. Federal government bars Air France. KLM, others approves 14 airlines.
Hike in petrol price, pressure on Senate to convene. Federal government says increase inevitable. And from Kaduna, Christian Muslim leaders unite for peace.
Unions appear as Unilag panel grills Babalaking for 4 hours. Police threaten surveyor for reporting extortion to a newspaper.
Lagos East by-election, Abiru wins APC senatorial primaries and Labour to lock down Rivers on Tuesday.
Blasphemy. Convicted Kano musician appeals a death sentence. Abiodun seeks Assembly's nod to assess 2.5 billion naira health fund.
Kano singer appeals death sentence, and we have a rider. Kano judiciary submits case and details to Falano. Also, food insecurity in Rivers, FCT top states nationally, and that is coming from the National Bureau of Statistics.
On Edo decides 2020, APC PDP trade words over alleged 1.5 billion naira vote buying cash. Ize Yamo will tackle sexual violence, support survivors. This is coming from his wife. And finally, PDP group hail Benin monarch for peace meeting.
Schools to reopen curfew now from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. And federal government supports poultry farmers with subsidized 5,000 MT of maize. Still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, I have motorists, commuters grown as marketers implement new pump price. Nigerians are helpless. Labor unions, CSOs should take the lead, and that is coming from Kokori. We'll go on a short break now, and when we are back, we'll bring you details of the stories. Welcome back from that short break. It's Newsreel on Pensioners 106.7 FM. On page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this headline: Oyo cancels curfew, moves conversion of isolation centers to PHCs. The Oyo State COVID-19 Task Force, headed by Governor Seyi Makinde, has announced the cancellation of the 10 p.m. curfew imposed on the state in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Makinde, Taiwo Adisa, which contained details of which of the report of the task force meeting held on the 31st of last month and presided over by the governor indicates that the curfew has been abolished after a series of reviews. According to the statement, an advisory will be sent to nightclubs warning that guests should not be allowed into the enclosed areas. Still on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, Ondo distributes PPEs to public private hospitals. As part of its intervention to strengthen the capacity of the hospitals in the state in the fight against COVID 19, the Ondo State government has donated some personal protective equipment, surgical face masks, and 95 Naira respirators to hospitals across the state. Presenting the items on behalf of the state government, the chairman of the Ondo State Interministerial Committee on COVID 19, Professor Adedeji Fatusi, assured hospitals across the state that the present administration will continue to support the improvement of its facilities. You want details of the stories? Yes, you can check page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune.
What are you hearing? SANs, others warn reps against illegality. Senior lawyers, social political organizations, and civil rights groups on Thursday described as unconstitutional attempts by the House of Representatives to adopt the public hearing it conducted in the 8th Assembly for the Water Resources Bill. The legal practitioners and groups such as the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization or Haneze Indigo, the Yoruba Social Political Group Afenifere and the Middle Belt Forum, in separate interviews, said the National Assembly should jettison the plan. Recall that the President Muhammadu Buhari had in 2017 presented the controversial bill to both chambers of the National Assembly, and the bill seeks to transfer the control of water resources from states to the federal government. And right after that same story, water bill violates federalism. This is coming from a senior lawyer. On his part, Honorable said, aside the procedural breach in the manner of its reintroduction, the bill was also fundamentally wrong on the grounds that it sought to infringe on the provisions of the Land Use Act. And of course, another writer to that story, it will signal Nigeria's final disintegration. This is coming from the Igbo Social Cultural Group or Haneze Indigo. And bury the bill, Afeni Fairy Tales National Assembly members. All of this story you would find on page 2 of the Punch newspaper with the headline, What a Bill Hearing, and others warn reps against illegality.
Still on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune, the 36 state governors under the aegis of the Nigerian Governors Forum have been urged to put necessary machinery in place to take ownership of the COVID 19 response, especially with the expected winding down of the presidential task force by the end of September 2020. The clarion call was made at the just concluded 16th teleconference of the Nigerian Governors Forum, chaired by Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, and this is after deliberation on the update on the executive order 10 World Bank supports to states in updating minimum of 50% property polio certification, national gas expansion program, as well as importance of continued testing in all states as the economy opens. Still on COVID-19, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control NCDC says sample collection for COVID 19 in the country declined in August. A report data made available to News Agency of Nigeria on Wednesday night by the NCDC showed a decline in sample collection for 6 days from May to August. Still on COVID 19, I have another headline here. Nigeria's aviation authorities notify airlines and stakeholders ahead of the resumption of international flight operations in Nigeria, scheduled for the 5th of September. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has issued a circular to all aviation stakeholders and foreign airlines flying into Nigeria. The all operators letter with reference number signed and issued by the Director General of the NCAA, Captain Musa Nuru, says partial resumption of international flights and wishes to inform the industry of the following. You want details on the following of what the aviation sector is saying? Yes, you can check page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Koesu begins strike, demands 441 billion naira. Others. The Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union on Thursday directed its members nationwide to immediately withdraw their services. The union accused the federal government of failing to provide the outstanding 441 billion naira resulting from the received needs assessment of federal colleges of education. The president of COASU, Nu Ogirima, who issued the directive for the withdrawal of services during a press conference in Abuja, said with what was happening in the educational sector, where all the unions were embarking on strike over poor funding and neglect, the federal government had disappointed Nigerians. COASU begins strike, demands 441 billion naira. Others.
Now in Oyo State and on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune, Makinde statements against opposition unfortunate. The Zenith Labour Party in Oyo State has described the statement uttered by the state governor, Sheyi Makinde, at the flag off of the phase 2 of the Light Up Oyo State in Ogbomoso as unfortunate and least expected of a man of his standing. The ZLP, in a statement by its chairman, Wole Abisoye, said the office demands comportment, saying a governor who uses hate speech and foul language against imaginary opposition in the state is gradually plotting his own downfall. And also from the health sector in Oyo State, WHO Stable Moms UCH to train journalists on mental health reportage. To commemorate the 2020 World Suicide Day, the World Health Organization, in collaboration with Center of Excellence in Mental Health, Neuroscience, and Substance Use Disabuse and Disorders, University of Ibadan, is set to train journalists across Nigeria on mental health media coverage. According to a statement signed by the founder of Stable Moms, Okweyemi Lawal, WHO is also partnering with the Department of Psychiatry, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. Details on the stories, yes, you can check page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And of course, still with the Punch newspaper for this morning, Oyo to pay 26 billion naira in backlog of gratuity. The Oyo state government has disclosed its readiness to offset the backlog of gratuity owed retired workers in the state from 2013 to June 2020. The state government also said it had paid a sum of 1.4 billion naira from January to August this year, adding that a total of 1,500 youths were trained in leadership and digital governance. The Commission of Establishment and Training, Professor Daoud Shongodoyin, stated this in Ibadan on Thursday while briefing journalists at his office. Oyo to pay 26 billion.
Conveyed, federal government says no money to pay subsidy. Owing to growing outrage of Nigerians on the increase of pump price of petrol and electricity tariff, pressure is mounting on the Senate to reconvene. Though the Senate had adjourned to resume from recess on the 15th of this month, several senators are said to have begun to pressurize the President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, to hold plenary as a matter of emergency. The senator representing Osun Central and chairman, Senate Committee on Media, particularly gave the hint that an emergency meeting was on the cards. He, however, said Lawan was yet to affirm the possibility of an emergency sitting. Details on the story, you can check page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune, and I have another one here which says Oshu schools to return to original uniforms on the 9th of November. Following the announcement of reversal of schools' names in Osho State, the government has clarified that the reversal to the old uniforms will commence on the 9th of November. This, according to state government, is the beginning of the new academic session. Speaking on behalf of the Review of Education Policy in the state, Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, Jamiu Olawumi, said the reversal of the school names will take place immediately. He, however, said the to the old uniforms will commence on the 9th of November at the start of the new academic session for smooth takeoff of the exercise. Details of the story, check page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And back to petrol fuel hike now. We have this further petrol price hike likely. Marketers warn Nigerians. Fuel marketers across the country adjusted their pump prices on Thursday to between 158 naira and 162 naira per liter of petrol, saying the further increase in global crude oil prices would push the the pump price of petrol higher. Petroleum prices have increased for 3 straight months, rising from 121 naira 50 kobo to 123 naira 50 kobo per liter in June to 140 naira 80 kobo to 143 naira 80 kobo in July. Now 148 naira to 150 naira in August, and 158 naira to 162 naira in September. And of course, some riders to that story. TUC says government action wicked, demands immediate reversal. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria condemned the increase in petrol price and electricity tariff in the country, and in a statement titled "Killing the Dead" and signed by its president Quadri Olale and Secretary General Musalawa Ozigi, the TUC said, like the book by George Orwell titled 1884, the government and its agencies have resorted to doing the opposite of what they were set up to do. We can't fund petrol subsidy, says federal government. Senators plan protest. Ogun governor backs federal government action. Federal government is insensitive, Senator Ogba. Buhari government worse than military, Ekiti, PDP. Price hike could heighten insecurity, action 8. And in the studios, the pension is 106.7 FM Agbarigo Niri K Ibadan for this morning on News, which is our newspaper review. We have Mr. Adebi Victor. Adebi, good morning, Victor. How are you?
Yeah, good morning.
Nice to have you again this lovely Friday.
My pleasure to be here.
All right, what better way to start your analysis this morning than from the issue that's on the front burner this morning? Fuel hike,
Yes.
fuel subsidy. What is this all about? And at this time, what is your opinion?
Well, it's for me, it's an overkill of the suffering masses of this country. As much as I happen to be one of those who believe in deregulation, because this regulated regime that we operate up until this point is all fraud. In the past, we saw how the big names used the fuel subsidy money to enrich themselves, and how government took advantage of that to exploit people, to exploit the voters. And we are not unmindful of how the fuel subsidy has become a political game and a political chess game in the hand of these political jobbers that we have in Nigeria. So for me, I don't mind things that has to do with the subsidy of a fraud being taken care of, but the timing must be right. In my own opinion, I think it's like killing the dead, like one of those opponents rightly said. It's like killing the dead.
TUC made that statement.
TUC made that statement. You
Yes.
see, I think they got it right by using that very phrase, because people are dying on the street of hunger. I mean, you need to look around everywhere. You will know that people are half dead everywhere, and for you to bring that to escalate it by way of increasing the subsidy at this time, increasing the pump price at this time, and all at the same time increasing electricity tariff. That is the real quarrel. I mean, we've seen a situation where it was increased by, why fuel pump price was increased by 30 naira, 40 naira, 50 naira in the past. Heaven didn't fall, because they know that they can get away with it. And I can assure you, this latest increase, they will get away with it. Nothing will happen. All this TUC, they will only make noise. You won't see them on the streets. They won't pound the government. So the margin is too negligible as compared to what they've gotten away with in the past. So for you to now begin to threaten and make noise over peanuts, when the whole a bunch of sherry was taken away in the past without you doing anything about now this one. So I think the government has taken the Nigerian people for a ride for too long, and there's still gap for them, opportunity for them to keep exploiting it, and they'll keep doing it. So if you look at the electricity tariff that is up, which one Nigeria are going to stand up against as we speak now? I mean, we are in a strait. We're in a serious quagmire of a situation where we don't know where to turn. But however, I believe that history will judge this regime either right or wrong over time. That's all I can say because we're already there. But somebody to turn around and say, oh, this government will reverse it. They are not reversing nothing. This is one of the most uncreative government we've ever had in Nigeria.
All right, let's move away from that now to the water view. Of course, when we open the studio lines, anyone can call in to contribute, and of course, have their say on this matter of petroleum pump price hike in Nigeria and also the electricity tariff hike. But now to the water bill hearing. SANS, as senior advocates of Nigerians and others, are warning representatives, House of Representatives members, and now senators against the legality of this water bill.
You see, it's all politics, and it's all about sectional fraud, where a section of the country feels that they own Nigeria. This is the manifestation of it. When a gang, a group, a minority group feels that they own the majority, the water bill, the Ruga settlement thing will never die until Nigerians rise up and said, it's either you take it or you leave it. This nation is a multinational nation. Nigeria is not just a nation, it's a multinational nation. And that is why the call for restructuring is being echoed every day. Nigeria is not a nation. It's a multinational nation. When you have so many nations within a nation, and the nation housing these nations is not even strong enough, which is called the federal government here. Because when you come down southwest here, it's a nation, a full-fledged nation on its feet. If you go among the Igbos in the southeast, they are a nation standing and ready to fight to a standstill. And when you go to the middle belt, where they are killing them in droves because some people want to hijack their land, they are a bunch of nations on their feet. So for anybody to feel he could just come around, throw some tantrums to frustrate the Land Use Act that's in the Constitution that vested the power of land in the hand of the state. Now you now say, look, don't worry. What we'll do is we'll remove the water from the land. It's not possible. It's like saying you want to remove the vegetable from the egusi in a soup. How are you going to do it? They've all marinated into one another. So for you to now claim you want to remove the oil from the water after preparing the soup, it's not going to happen. It will have only been better you say, it's either you take away the whole land and said federal government will be the one to sign CFO, or you let it be. It is the water and the land must belong to the domain where God created it. In fact, it's one of the biggest fraud of our time.
All right, as you are watching us, as you are listening to us from home, you can also watch us on our Facebook page, Pensioners FM, and also on YouTube, Pensioners FM. We're streaming live on that channel, and very soon we will throw open the studio lines for you to call and make your contributions on the show for today.
Then very quickly, let me clarify that, because a lot of people are hearing about this water bill. They might not understand the intricate details. When federal government controls the waterways, when they control the water resources, it simply means they can come to any water basin and declare it for Ruga settlement. They can easily come and say, look, we want our cousins to take over the place and use the place to rear their cow. And is there a way you can separate the water line or the waterways or the water banks from farming? What is called farming is water. The moment you take the dams, you take the water area like the Okere Dam in Oyo State here and several others around that the state has control over, that one, they will all go to federal government. So the federal government can wake up tomorrow and say, look, Fulani settlement should be everywhere. So it's like literally Fulanizing the entire nation, which was what Ruga noise was all about. So this is an indirect backyard arrangement to achieve the same goal which they were trying to push then, that the Nigerian state majority said no. You are less than 10% in Nigeria. how come you will now become the master of all? It's not going to happen, and it will never happen.
All right, well, back to your state now, where we have Oyo Cancer's curfew moves conversion of isolation centers to PHC. And this is coming from the former director of University College Hospital, Professor Temitope Alunge, who says there's decline in the number of COVID-19 patients. I'm thinking, is this the right time to combat? Are we saying COVID-19?
You see, I would say that Oyo State is one of those states that was too early to re COVID fin. When Yoruba say Korean coffee, they are one of the states, apart from the lousy noise that was coming from Kogi State. But I think Oyo State was one of those. I think it's the first state to demystify COVID, probably because the thing strike at the governor. And the governor said, if this is the way it is, then we shouldn't die before death. And I think he began from that moment, because when you want to advertise some medicine, they will ask you, have you used it before? So since Seyi Makinde was one of those who have used the corona dose, and he feels where it pinches and he knows where it pains, so he will be able to talk about coronavirus better than I do, better than yourself, who have never experienced it. So I think he's one of those who have taken one of those bold steps, like Trump. Even the great America, we have it today in America. Hidden Biden,
Joe Biden,
is shouting from his basement that look at the weekend how Pelosi was caught hands down at the hairdressing salon without the mask, and that became an issue. So hypocrisy is the middle name of coronavirus management. Tell me, what difference does it make with the COVID-19 PTF declaration 10-4, 12-4? Excuse me. It doesn't make any difference.
People rarely move at that time.
No, it doesn't invite. It's all nonsensical. Like, as soon as I read it yesterday, I said, these guys have gone to do copy and paste again. Because the PTF, a lot of the things they are saying, a lot of things they are doing about airline, a lot of them are copy and paste. That's the truth. A lot of our ideas or processes or procedure or position on COVID-19 management is copy and paste.
So you mean that we have not been able to develop as homegrown
we don't even know where
to managing COVID-19?
Not even know, we don't even know where we are going. All we do is we giraffe. Point and simple. We just look around what is going on. What are they doing around town in the other countries? We just copy and paste and bring it here. Because we've not been able to come up with any ingenious idea. Look at what happened, NAFDAC, who were talking from both sides of the mouth. Suddenly now, they've zero on this, what is this malaria tablet now? Hydroxychloroquine. They've zero back to it. After they drifted away, they drifted back. As soon as when they studied it, when they hear the drift outside the country, probably from America or Britain, they will drift with them. They will drift in and drift out. So we don't even know what we're doing because there's no coordination. As we speak today, Nigeria is just flying on one wing. So God saves our soul. That is it.
All right. Let me also ask you this. Kwasu begins strike, demands 441 billion naira and others. Now we know that ASU is on strike. As I know,
on strike.
SANU
on strike.
SANU is on strike.
On closed university.
SANU is on strike. NASU is on strike. And just yesterday, the news filtered out that the federal government said that we can now begin to reopen all our institutions of learning, starting from the childhood level to tertiary level. But here are the movers and the shakers of our educational institutions in the tertiary level saying they are downing tools.
Unfortunately, they have never been movers. They've always been shakers of the educational system.
How do you mean by that?
Since I grew up and I've been able to know my left from my right, they've always been shakers. Because when you go to those universities, you will know that they are mere checkers, they are not movers.
But leave it or take
both them and
the
federal government, they are all unserious. Even when the facilities are there, even when the funding is there, what do they make out of them? Fraud. Nigerian universities are one of the most fraudulent arm of government in Nigeria.
But do you think that we have had enough
even when they have the money?
Do you think we have had enough funding for our universities or our education sector?
Even the little they were giving. Look, look, there is time to blame the federal government. There is time to blame the state. There's also the time to blame the receiver. If you say your wife, your children are not being well fed, ask your wife. 1,000 naira is what you said you needed for the soup to make good soup. I've been able to give you 4,000 or 400. What were you able to make out of that 400? That's the big question.
But I think that the 400 naira they have been given, we have seen this 400 naira into use as claimed by these associations of university lecturers and teachers. They are always clamoring for more funding, which I see.
Until we begin to see DFAs, Director of Finance and Administration, in universities, vice chancellors in jail. Nigerian universities will not develop. The registrars and the rectors in polytechnics, a lot of them belongs to prisons for corruption. Look at what happened recently in Lagos State. In University of Lagos.
Yes.
If not that Babala King stood his ground, that thing would have just been swept under the carpet. Who are the people championing and making noise that no, they will not go agree? Is it not the same ASU that were behind that VC? Look, it's a whole scam. There's so much of scam in those institutions. Let's look, a lot of children are not getting the best from school. Not because government is not giving the so-called little they are being given. But the little that is going into the system are being stolen. Look at what is going on about this IPPIS. This integrated
personnel payroll system, yes.
They are protesting it, they are contesting it, they don't want it because it will expose a lot of mess going on in those schools. Anytime, any day you want it, bring them here and bring somebody who knows about them very well to come and challenge them. They won't be able to make those points.
All right.
There are wastages in our schools.
Before we continue on this conversation, before we take you on some other questions, let's inform our listeners that at this point you can make your contribution on the show by dialing the studio lines 0908 111 1067 or 0808 010 1067. You can also watch us live on our Facebook page and drop your comments on that platform, and we'll definitely take it. We have a caller right here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is William.
All right, Williams from Ulugweru, right?
Yeah.
All right. Quickly this morning, good to have you and your contributions.
My take this morning. Amechi once famously said that until Nigerians start to stone them, things won't change. Things won't improve. Perhaps we are being pushed to that stage. Perhaps not. One thing about Nigeria and Nigerians is this: we have grown a thick skin towards bad governance. People adjust, and we say God day, and then we move on. As for NSC and TUC, say they go on strike next week, we have to consult. The very fact that they were excluded from the discussion that led to the NSC says a lot about the kind of position NSC or TUC has in place. Because NSC and TUC should have been called into a meeting, deliberated upon this issue before tonight. So they were pushed aside. That tells them the kind of value the government ascribed to NSC.
All right.
TUC. So as they have said, their protest, if they did embark on it, we will yield because nobody values their input anymore.
All right, you can close it. All right, thank you very much, Williams from Olugweru. You too can be a part of the show this morning. 09081 11 1067, 09081 11 1067, and 08080 10 1067, 08080 10 1067. We have another caller right here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for your analysis this morning. John Njoku is my name once again.
All right, John Njoku, welcome.
This lamentation will not take us to anywhere. Regrettably, I am a daily leader and a further political event in this country. You know what baffles me? I'm not surprised by the condition we find ourselves now. You said to be forewarned is to be forearmed. President Buhari had, before 2019 general election, I read in the newspaper, before the election came, he had won of hard time during the second time. He said so. Election came. Election came. Nigeria voted, he won by popular vote or landslide victory. Now the hard times are here. We are lamenting. We are lamenting.
And there wasn't COVID-19 then.
So that was last year. Before the election came, someone told you, my second time will be of hard time. He had won the election. And so the hard times are here. You see, we do not even have only leadership problem, as some people will say. We equally have followership problem. We are the architect of our own problem. John Ujok is my name. I want to be brief.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. John Ujok.
That's the truth. You see, for as long as I was talking about the fraud in our universities, when you move on to the health sector, it's worse with our doctors. The doctors are worse. Nobody like when you mention all those sectors. Because you sit down to the hospital.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
It's Simon from Agbo.
Simon from Agbo. Good to have you this morning.
All right. My little contribution is concerning ASU and the integrated personal payroll system. I think there is something ASU is seeing from that integrated personal payroll system, which is has made them to reject that proposal from the federal government.
Okay.
As we see the good side of that system.
Yes.
Yeah, the bad side of it.
Let me ask you a question, Simon. Are you also in the system? Are you a worker who's been paid with the IPPIS system?
Well, I'm not a worker. In fact, I'm a student.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a student.
What is the downside? What is the downside of that arrangement?
IPPIS?
From what I was able to gather, while something was going on back then, I was able to ask some lecturers concerning the bad side of that system. They said, now if we should allow, according to them, they say if they should allow the IPPIS, the integrated personal payroll system, to come into the play, then that means that some decisions which the school, which the universities might not be able to, to take on. That will be solely from the federal government.
Give us an example.
Okay, an example. All right, an example is, according to them, they said that we have according to them, they said the system that is that we have in Nigeria today. We can wake up one day and said, from the federal government that they are going to send so lecturers to be in so school, even when the lecturer is not even capable, or even when the person is not capable of taking the students, in the right way. So kind of it's going to be quite
strips the autonomy of universities. You mean? Yes.
So now I'm trying to avoid that. From lecturers, I'm trying to avoid such things to come into play. But then I could see the good side of the system. But since they are agitating on that, well, I don't know what to say. But I think they have a stand, to say no. But I don't want such system. Then another thing is, now where I actually come against the ASU is, now the federal government has said the school should be open.
Yes.
I now wonder why this same ASU now said, no, it's going to lead to the increase in the COVID-19 cases or whatsoever. Now I wonder, these people does not have work in their,
they don't want to work. They are enjoying the free pay. This is Nigeria. Let's call a spade a spade. The more you stay at home, the better for them.
Let's have him round up his thoughts there.
All right. So, and I said, from my own opinion, that if these people, this ASU, if they are not being paid monthly, I'm pretty sure they could have called for the resumption.
Exactly. Why are the private school teachers not asking? Why are they not talking about COVID-19?
Exactly.
They're enjoying free pay.
My conclusion now is
quickly, be brief, please.
According to the analyst said that only the table shakers or whatever, that they have not been moving anything forward. That if they want to move us forward, if they have our interest in mind, they shouldn't even be talking about debt now or whatever that the federal government is doing there or owing them. They shouldn't be talking about it now. We are all looking for, as a result of the economic downtrodden that we'll be experiencing.
Thank you, Simon.
The education sector is one of the best way, to make things happen. If we can, imagine Wuhan
I'm sorry, I have to let you go there. That is much we'll be able to take from you, Simon. Thank you very much for calling the show this morning, and we will appreciate you if you always contribute and lend your own, side of the story on this program. 0908 111 1067 and also 0808 010 1067. We have a caller right here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is SB. Unfortunately from Makwete.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think the fuel hike and the increase in NEPA in electricity tariff.
Okay.
Yes, there are another set of palliatives. And hold on.
Okay, go on.
I think hold on. Sorry, hold on. I think you people have been gone around.
We the people.
I've not hold
you.
on. Wait.
Don't criminalize us.
Let me talk now.
All right, go on quickly. We do not have
I
so
think
much time.
some people have been claiming that the former palliative did not go around, and they are sure this. Hold on, you laugh too much.
Don't worry. Come and pay for time slot, and then so that we're able to promote this your time for palliative to Nigerians.
All right,
Well,
I'm sorry. We
you.
have to let you go, SB Aboduri from Akwete. But we really enjoyed you on the show. And of course, we want more of you on the show. Going forward, do you have any other questions before we round up on the show for this morning?
It's just a stake on Victor's take on NLCTUC to lock down rivers on Tuesday.
Well, what is the offense
and
or wicked this time?
That new progeny of authoritarianism, industrial tyranny, state-sponsored violence, and terrorism against workers and citizens.
Well, taking the sledgehammer to kill mosquito will not be the solution here. I think it's a question of the TUC, the NLC, and the proponents of that lockdown or shutdown should approach the Wike, because Wike has always been saying that his government is open, and also they should approach him, talk to him, and let him see gray areas they want necessary amendment and adjustment, rather than just taking to the streets at a time when people can hardly feed themselves. So there are some steps that are just, they could have a lot of political undertone. Sometimes when the political opponents are heading some of these branches of union, they throw up tantrums on the slightest of excuses. So sometimes they are not as real as they want the people to see. So I think Wike and the party concerned should sort out their problem. This is not the time to just embark on any unreasonable strike and protest.
All right, let's just take a few headlines before we go on the program, because we have just some few minutes on the program. Amotekun arrests 3 suspected kidnappers in Ondo. 5 Borno Yobe insurgents killed, 9 bandits arrested. This is coming from the defense headquarters. And investors in education must prioritize standards, coming from Afe Babalola.
Also on flight resumption, federal government bans Air France, KLM, and 4 others. Also, Babalake staff unions appear before panel, and this is for Unilag. Also, UI, LASU, Unilag top Nigeria's list of global universities ranking.
In how many? Among how many?
Among almost 500.
No, 1,000.
Yes, we are in the top 500 bracket. All right. Some other headlines as we have them here. We haven't released schools calendar, says Delta. Police foil ex-militants protest in Cross River over unpaid allowances. Autumn advocates parliamentary system, and Delta approves 3-year expenditure framework. All of this are coming from the Punch newspaper.
Judge withdraws from suit against Ize Iyamin, and INEC urges religious leaders against violence in Edo State. Also on politics from Ondo 2020, we will run an all-inclusive government, and that is coming from Akeredolu. And Makinde tells OISEC, conduct election in only 33 local governments within shortest possible time. And from Lagos, on election, Lagos by election, Abiru wins APC senatorial primary.
And from Katsina State, Katsina pays 157 million naira for COVID-19 tests. Experts advise Nigerians on crisis management. Southern Kaduna killings. El Rufai inaugurates peace panel. This is a much we'll be able to take on the program for this morning. We're glad that you joined us on Newsreel this morning. Special thanks to you, Mr. Adebi, Victor Adebi, for coming through as the analyst on the show today.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, and special thanks to Williams from Ulugweru, John Njoku from Mokola, Simon from Agbo, and also SB Aboduri from Akbete. Let's do this again tomorrow on Yami Tori, which is our pidgin version of Newsreel on Pensioners 106.7 FM. My name is Babafemi Obideyi, but before we go, I would say that the man dies in all who keeps silent in the face of tyranny. This is a quote from Wole Soyinka. Let's all endeavor to have our say in our various communities. My name is Babafemi Obideyi. Good morning.
All right, join our colleagues tomorrow for another edition of Newsreel on Pensioners 106.7 FM. I am Inumidun. Afonja Adedeji. Enjoy your day.